Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello, and thank you for downloading The Horse Show here on Wisp Sports. This is Season 4, Episode 20, and I'm Chris Stafford. And you can join in the conversation at any time by following us on social media at Wisp Sports. My guest this week is Di Lampard, who was the only female chef to keep among 17 at this year's FEI Nations Cup final in Barcelona, which, for equestrian sport, is not a true reflection, really, of the gender equity among riders, trainers and owners generally. But by that time, Di, who has been leading the British show jumping team now for almost 10 years, had achieved her team's main goal for the second time in her tenure of qualifying for the Olympic Games. And she will tell you that building the team takes time, and this year was a building year with Tokyo in mind, and the choice of youth and experience combined paid off with a thrilling Nations Cup victory in Dublin this summer, which paved the way to the European Championships in Rotterdam, where the team clinched the bronze medal. Di's steadfast approach in nurturing younger riders and new combinations reflects her horsemanship and wealth of experience, and bodes well for the Olympic challenge that lies ahead. And with the season that she has had, I thought it was a good time to catch up with her and reflect on the progress so far and look at the road ahead. Di, welcome and thank you for joining me.
Quite all right, Chris. Nice to hear from you.
It's always good to catch up because you've had quite the year, haven't you? Congratulations on getting that all-important Olympic qualifier.
Yes, this was our main goal for the year, to get the qualification for Tokyo, the Olympic Games. We left it till the last year of qualification, which is something that has been predominantly done for the Brits over the years. And we had our focus well and truly on Rotterdam. And it was a real relief to get qualified.
And that turning point, we should say, was in Dublin at the Nations Cup. Winning that there was actually special for you on a personal level, wasn't it?
It was. Very much. We have the new format has changed this year for the Nations Cup. We have 4 counting Nations Cups. Every nation does in Division 1. And we always were hoping that we were going to get stronger in the second part of the year, i.e. Hickstead and Dublin. And although we struggled somewhat at Hickstead, to say the least, Dublin came to absolutely at the right time, because it's been sort of over 12 months since we've won a 5-star Nations Cup, and we wanted to get the winning feeling back again, get the spirit good at Dublin, where we had the riders that were going to Rotterdam to the European Championships, but on different horses. And, they did it in style. They won it on one time penalty, which was fantastic. And we didn't even have to start our 4th rider in the second round.
Yeah, great position to be in. But for those who don't have the memory that goes back as far as we do, let's put this in context, because you rode there with Big Mac, Abbeville Dream. In what year was that?
Oh gosh, now you're asking me. You're asking me. It's sort of late 90s there, and we were sort of we were jumping there. I mean, it was always my idol. Was my venue, I should say, to go and ride at was Dublin. I went on foot with my husband, and we sat through the Aga Khan Trophy. And the atmosphere there was absolutely amazing. And, this was a very early ambition of mine, to be able to ride in the Aga Khan Trophy. And, I was very fortunate to win it on one occasion that I rode there. And to win it and then to actually chef the team to win again, it was a dream come true.
Yeah, it must have been. But you will remember the pressure that you were under. You could relate to that and what your riders were under this year.
That's right. And I think that's one advantage of being a performance manager. When you've experienced those pressures and you get to know your team well, you get to know their characters, and you know hopefully how to handle them all individually going into these pressure points, actually. You know, some of them just need an arm around them, a little bit of relaxing and giving them the confidence. Some need, and some actually need a little bit of a kick up the backside and saying, "Come on, you know, now's the day to perform. This is what we've been working all year towards. This is the goal. Now, don't let this moment slip." And you know, equally the four different characters all pulled it together on the day.
And you've interestingly, in this sort of building year, pre-Olympic year, have combined youth and experience, haven't you, for that purpose?
We have. You know, the British riders have been going through a huge change with more of the senior riders getting, you know, slowing down on the production of their horses. They haven't got horses at the top level. And there's been a big gap from obviously Nick Skelton retiring, John Whittaker, Michael Whittaker, Jeff Billington stepping back. And then, of course, we've had Scott and Ben come through to the height of show jumping. And then we have got a big gap again. And we've been nurturing on some young talent. We've got good talented riders that have come through the youth programs. And we've nurtured them through over the last 4 years through to the senior ranks.
Just remind us, Di, and for our wider audience, how long you've been involved, how long you've been chef, and how long you've been involved in the performance team at Team GB.
I've been involved with Team GB as in selecting and performance manager for 9 years now. Coming on 10 years. And I've been performance manager for the last 4 years, and looking to go to Tokyo off the back of being performance manager for Rio.
Now, if we put this in context, the GB team, the show jumping team, and you and I go back a long way, Di, you know, through the various eras, you know, the fabulous partnerships that we've had. It's now coming back up again to the top of the first division with your leadership. And I know you've got to have the right riders and the right horses, the combinations coming good at the right time. But a lot of it is, as you say, the nurturing them over that Olympic cycle the last 4 years. What do you think has been key to, if you look at the bigger picture of the talent that's available in show jumping in Great Britain, right, over the past decade or two even?
Yes, we've got a very good programme, actually, with the World Class programme, supported by UK Sport and lottery funding. And a lot of the youth come onto this programme and learn their skills, learn to greater their skills, actually, of all-round skills, not just riding and training with the horses, but the actual management and the planning of the horses. And, you know, get a lot of education on the veterinary side as well. So actually I think they are producing their horses better. The youth are producing their horses better. They have, as I say, a lot of support with that programme. And, you know, even our national circuit, we've got a good circuit. We've got what I call a real old-fashioned circuit. We have the county show circuit, which our counties throughout Great Britain hold shows and jumping events out in main grass rings, and this interchanges a lot with the equestrian centres that have got their indoor circuits and their surfaces. And I think the horses are brought up with a really good grounding in England. You know, they see life to the full. And when they come through the ranks, they've jumped in these county shows on the grass rings, which have helped them step up into the Nations Cups and the big grass rings of today. Like, as we know, you could reel most of the big rings now are grass rings.
And they may have been hunting too.
Yes, you get that as well, Chris. Hunting not quite as popular now as to what it used to be, but is still very much used to educate the horses as well.
What about the source of the horses themselves, Di? Where do you see the horses coming from today, for the most part?
Well, we're not a huge breeding country, as you know. We haven't got the number of horses at our fingertips in England. The breeding programme is improving over here all the time, and it helps with being able to get semen for these top stallions from all over the world now. So there are more horses being bred. But the quality of horses, we have got some extremely good owners in England, very good owners that back the young riders. And, they do buy horses in. And the combination of the very good owners supported by the riders that are being well educated, it is slowly coming to fruition now over the years. It takes time. And the World Class programme now has been running for 14 years, something like this, and it's slowly growing through.
Where do you see the horses coming from in Europe, the warm bloods?
I think there's no one particular place, but a lot of horses are bred in Germany, Holland, Belgium, even from Sweden nowadays. There are well-bred horses all around Europe now, and the only problem is everybody's looking for the same thing, the same commodity.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it, isn't it? There's the demand for them now in these horses, and then the price goes up too.
Well, it's we as I say, we're a very good country for producing horses, and it's nice to see a few of the horses being retained. I think, and hopefully I would say that the owners have got confidence in the system that every partnership gets an opportunity to jump at the highest level, and if a particular owner wants that, the opportunity is definitely there with our youth going forward in England, for sure.
Now, the one thing we're proud of in equestrian sport is the equality. There is a great gender balance in equestrian sport, unlike some other sports. And I noticed at the Nations Cup final in Barcelona, at the chef de keeps meeting, the group photo there, of the 17 chefs, you were the only woman. But that probably was something you may not even have noticed. Do you reflect on that at all, and that there could be, because the talent pool is there, when you look at the experience that these countries have, there is more room for women coaches and chef de keeps?
Definitely, and it's very much a talking point, and has been for the last 2 years now, the equality, and it's absolutely fantastic that in show jumping, in equestrian, that you get men and women going toe to toe out there in competition, and it's fantastic to see this, and it's a huge attraction. For me, as a chef de keep, there was a lot made of it when I became chef de keep, the first female chef de keep. There was a lot made of that at the time, but actually I come from the background of competing, and I look at the sport, and I bring my knowledge and experience through, and it's something that we've done right from word go, and it never really comes into the equation for me. We certainly don't get any preferential treatment, the girls in this sport. It's a huge sport now. It's a business, and everybody's out. The competition is really high, and it's a level playing field.
And with your experience now in this role, Di, what do you think, if anyone was listening to this and thinking, well, that is a path maybe I want to take my career, to become a chef de keep, what do you think the qualities are that you would be looking for, and especially when you look at all the other chef de keeps out there that are all male, what stands out for you?
I think you have to be really open, very honest. There has to be, behind every decision you make, there has to be a method behind it. And I think you have to be able to explain every decision that you make. I have now got a vast amount of experience and have been to the shows that a lot of the time with my riders, when I'm going to ask them a question, I've got a pretty good idea of what their answer is going to be before I ask them. And I think that, my advice to anybody is go out there and get some experience and do some mentoring and keep riding for a good many years to get this sort of experience. But patience. I think this is really important in this position, because you do get frustrations, like we spoke of earlier. With different riders, to get the best out of them, there's different approaches for different riders, and I think it's finding the keys, and also plans. Everybody's plans are all individual. It isn't. You can't make a set plan for everybody. The horses are different. Some need more jumping than others. Some need far less. And it is just time sitting down, looking at the shows and trying to get the riders into the shows early enough so you can plan back from your goals. But it is a real challenge, and I always think you have to be available 24/7. Because riders, they pick up the phone to you when they want an answer, and the weekend is when our sport's running. So you've got to be available over the weekend. So this is why I look at it as being a sport where you're on hand 24/7 really for it. You've got to be really dedicated to want to do this. It certainly has its challenges, but the rewards are there as well.
Now, what about the pressure aspect of it, Di? Because this year was so important, obviously, with the Olympic qualification at stake. Once you'd won in Dublin, you knew you were on the way to Rotterdam then, and then you clinched the bronze medal in Rotterdam, and then you knew you were going to be on the way to Japan next year. But with it comes a lot of responsibility and obviously a lot of pressure. How do you handle that pressure?
Well, probably if you were to ask my husband and my son, they would. I think they feel the pressure. It isn't something I go out and normally sort of say that yes, I do feel the pressure, because you try to be above it and not put the pressure onto the riders at any stage. So I think this is really important to keep the environment right at the show, keep the atmosphere right, the team spirit, but to handle it in general, that it is a huge responsibility. When I first came into this position, I went to Aachen to the European Championships to get Team GBR qualified for Rio the following year, and that was really for my appointment, was to get GBR qualified. And going into that, it was just 1 year to get everything turned around and get qualified. And that was just literally, we were flat out because we'd only got the younger horses at that time. We'd got experienced riders and 2 young horses. And to keep their program and to keep those horses, getting the horses planned that they had enough experience to go into such a daunting arena like Aachen. It wasn't quite like going into the ring like Rotterdam, which, a surface where a lot of the horses are more used to worldwide now, jumping on surfaces. to go into Arkham was really daunting on some of the horses. As I say, it was a good job we were sort of well practiced on grass, and we have a good system at home for that. But to actually go and deliver, I felt that a lot more pressure that year than I did this year. And my attitude at Arkham was to go and get qualified for Rio, of which we did. And as the day unfolded, we could see that we were a stone's throw away from a bronze medal before our last rider got to go into the ring. So we all smiled at each other, but we kept on because we knew the bronze medal was in the grasp. Unfortunately, we lost the bronze medal by 0.75 to the Swiss team that got the bronze medal. And it was slightly disappointed, but, we were so relieved to have got qualified. It was an unbelievable feeling for the next 2 days. It hadn't sunk in, and you feel absolutely drained after that. But this year was quite different because we went to Tryon the year before with a comparatively young team, with Amanda Derbyshire and Holly Smith that hadn't been to a championships before. And Holly was only on a very young horse, a 9-year-old horse that was just was really in the first year last year of international jumping. And, we were supported with William Whittaker there, that William had jumped on a European championship team, at a European championships, but as an individual because we didn't choose to send a team to Sweden that year. And there was quite a bit of pressure on going into there, but we were real underdogs going into WEG. But actually our result was very good. I said to them on the first day, go in there and don't be afraid. Go and let's get a good position on the medal table right from day one. And they rode very brave, they rode very well. Luck didn't really go their way, 100%, but, every day they clawed back a bit more room, and we ended up in just one place out of qualifying. And with a young team, that gave me a lot of confidence going forward to Rotterdam. So as the season unfolded this year, I was quietly confident when we had Ben Mayer and Explosion into the equation, into our team. And Scott's horse, Hello Milady, came back. The horse had been out of action with a minor injury on and off for a while. And as that partnership got back towards their best, I was quietly confident with Amanda and Holly that I got 4 really strong riders going into Rotterdam. You still have to get the job done, so there was pressure. And some days, the pressure was mounting up a little bit, especially early in the season when the results weren't going out. But we knew that we were going to get stronger towards the end of the season, and it's a matter of keeping the nerves. Fortunately, horses and riders got there in good form and healthy, and they stuck to task, and they were amazing.
And of course, for the individual title in Rotterdam, that must have been a challenging moment for you, I would imagine. How did you respond to Ben's round and to him when he came out of that round?
Well, it was a huge disappointment, and with having 2 riders in the individual, we got Holly as well, and Holly's goal was to finish in the top 10. That was her goal. She'd set that out before she went there. And having jumped with Holly first on that final round, and Holly got a clear round, I was quite confident it was going to come off for Ben. But as you could imagine, even somebody as steely cool as Ben the pressure to go in there when you've jumped every day clear, never even rubbed a rail, going right through the week. It was a huge disappointment for him to have that last but one fence down. And, his face said it all. Because, I think that the partnership have been outstanding for the last 2 years. And I don't think we've seen the best from this horse. Well, this partnership, should I say, yet. I think everybody's got a lot more to look forward to with that combination. And it was very hard to console Ben coming out that ring. It was real. He had a rail and he was silver, and I think it took him 15-20 minutes just to It was unbelievable that he hadn't got it. But like Ben said, the partnership that won, Martin and Clooney, they were absolutely fantastic as well. He was a good winner, and everybody moves on. Everybody moves on from it. But
and learns from it.
Absolutely, lessons are learnt from it too. Absolutely.
So, as a chef, then, after you've walked the course and they know the way they're going to ride the track, how much influence do you have? Do you have any final say or advice before, like Ben would have ridden that? Would have you given him any advice, or did you have the confidence in he knew what he was doing, so you just stand back and?
I always say to them, walk the course individually, and then we always meet up and go through the course together. I usually end up walking the course with Holly, actually, because I mentor and coach Holly. But as a team, we always usually walk the course individually, because if you walk it as a team, everybody's horses are slightly different, and it's not so easy to have the clarity when you've got 4 riders around you and go through the plan. And it's good for them to walk the course, and then we go through the course as though they're riding the course individually. And in that case, Ben was determined. He was going on the extra stride up to that water tray, which it was unfortunate.
Well, as you say, moving on now, lessons learned, and you'll take those lessons forward now as a team. A little bit of a break for you this time of the year. Let's look at the plans, and when do you pick back up again, Di, and focus on that squad for Tokyo?
Well, we will start in February in Deer Ridge, in America there, with our First Nations Cup. And I think we've got 5 or 6 riders out there in Florida competing, and we'll select a team from how they're going there, and it'll be interesting because when we look at next year, although Tokyo isn't till August, we have to look at selections in June, so it's really early next year for partnerships. We haven't got a closed door. The door's still open for partnerships to come through. But we've got a couple of riders that are really putting up a good challenge for next year. So we've already worked out that when those horses will having their break and when they're building up again. And neither of the horses, 2 horses that we've got earmarked for Tokyo next year at the moment, all being well, and this is very difficult to say with 2 hearts. We need riders to keep healthy, and we need horses to keep healthy, which isn't so easy either. With Ben Mayer and Explosion and Holly Smith and Heart's Destiny, we've got their breaks panned out at the moment, so we can build them up to Tokyo. But we're waiting from the FEI at the moment to get our Nations Cups all awarded out to the different countries, so we can see if we can use the Nations Cup shows as part of preparation as well this year. But as you know, it's difficult having to select in June now. A lot of the Nations Cups aren't till way after there.
And finally, then, Di, I know you as a horsewoman, first and foremost, as a horsewoman. And with the job that you have now, there must be various aspects of it that really are just incredible and you must enjoy so much. But is it all about the result that actually, is the icing on the cake? Or what part of this journey with these teams do you most enjoy?
I just like to see the improvement. I think from producing horses for so many years, it's nice to see the horses improve that as a rider. But as a chef d'équipe, to see the partnerships and to be bringing them through, it's really nice to see the progress over the years. And the belief and the trust that's built up. I mean, I think horses are wonderful animals. We shouldn't take them for granted for what they do. They are so trusting in us as humans, what we ask them to do, and they are wonderful. And they are intelligent animals. And to see how you can train them and work them and produce them, I still enjoy this as much producing the partnerships as I used to enjoy producing the horses. And that's nice, but then when you integrate the new young riders with the more experienced riders and you get a team to come together, I think it's absolutely wonderful when it comes right and you see 4 riders so happy and it's all worked out as a team. I think this is where the great pleasure comes. And also, of course, we keep talking about riders and horses, but owners too. Owners following their horses, and like some of the horses are like their children, and they follow them through. And some owners are more patient than others, and it's nice to see them enjoying the experience and them getting their just rewards at the end of the day, and being successful owners.
Yeah, and then there's the families and the extended family of these young riders too.
Absolutely. When we go out as a sort of one big team. And I must say one thing that the Brits do very well, they do look after their owners extremely well when they go to the CSI shows. And, the owners get proper VIP treatment. And like you say, their extended family come along and support, and it's really nice. It's really nice when it goes well, because as anybody knows that's worked with horses, you have your ups and downs, and there are lots of downs, so you must enjoy when everything does come right. It's just nice to see everybody enjoying the sport. I find it really rewarding to stand back and just see so many people enjoying it through from the grooms, that of course the grooms put so much hard work into these horses. They travel everywhere with them. In fact, they are the first call today. They know when the horses are in good form, when they're feeling right. They know before anybody.
Yeah, it is one big village, as we know. And when I spoke to you at Tryon last year, Di, and you said you really didn't have much time to ride yourself these days, do you get a chance then over the winter to pick that up a little bit?
Yes, I've got the last mare that we actually bred. I've got her at home at the moment, and actually Holly's been competing with her a little bit this summer. And it's been nice to, when I've been at home, to be part of the training with the mare as well. Louise Whitaker did a fantastic job producing the horse, and Louise was a good way in Yorkshire away from me, and I never used to get to see very much of the mare at all. And we also started an interesting different direction of we've been taking some embryos from her this year, so the mare came back to Spring Farm. We had 1 embryo last year. We've actually got 3 on the way this year, which will be exciting. starting in February with the birth of two of the recipient mares. And it's been really nice to be able to ride her in between, because we've got the veterinary clinic, Oakham Veterinary Clinic, very close to us, just a mile down into the town, and it's very convenient to do these embryos with the mare at home, and you can carry on working them through it. And I've thoroughly enjoyed riding again. Not often enough, but what little bit I'm at home, and then, as I say, connecting and seeing the mare at the shows has been very pleasurable for myself.
Wonderful. Well, we'd love to see you in your show boots again, but there's certainly no time for that right now.
I don't think that's going to happen, Chris. I'm sorry to disappoint you on that one. But I do enjoy riding at home. Good.
Well, long may it last, Di. Well, thank you so much for taking time to come on the show, and the very, very best of luck leading up to Tokyo and in the Games next year.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris.
Hi, I'm Nikki Daly. I'm an international field hockey player for Ireland, and I'm also a motorsport engineer. I'm a proud WISP ambassador because I am very passionate about women in sport, particularly in hockey and motorsport. I think WISP Sports is a fantastic platform. It promotes all women in sport from any level, right the way down through to grassroots level. And I think it's really important for young girls to be able to see their role models, to see that people are out there achieving great things at different levels in sport, and it gives them something to look up to and try to achieve themselves. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Nikki Daly, Instagram, Twitter, and under my Formula Female Instagram and Facebook as well for the motorsport side of what I do. Thanks for listening and helping WISP Sports turn up the volume on women in sport.
And with the World Cup circuit well underway now, and the Florida circuit starting pretty soon too, we'll be into the new year before we know it, and we will of course be following the road to Tokyo for so many riders, trainers, coaches, and that's all here on The Horse Show. So do join us regularly here on The Horse Show podcast at WISP Sports, and you can contact us if you have any suggestions for guests or questions for us. Drop us a line to info@wispsports.com. And of course, follow us on social media. Until the next time, thanks for listening and helping us to turn up the volume on women's sports.